longer, and then what's the new part is in it. Yeah. We made any changes.
No, I was given to us at the council meeting.
We are live.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good
I
evening.
have 100 windows open, so let me figure out what I'm doing. Good evening for the virtual public hearing of Monday, April 19th, 2021. Hartford Public Access Television, www.hpatv.org or channel 96 for Comcast Xfinities. This is the ordinance amending chapter 27, itinerant vendors, street vendors, and food trucks of the Hartford Municipal Code. This evening, we will, public hearing shall be conducted in accordance with the following procedures. Each person wishing to address the council or committee thereof shall, upon recognition by the presiding officer, that would be me, give his or her name, address, and if he or she represents a group shall, in addition, state for the record the name and address of said group or organizations and shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any individual member. Any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or who becomes boisterous while addressing the council shall be forthwith barred by the presiding officer from further audience at said meeting unless permission to remain is granted by 2/3 vote of the council members present and voting. During public hearing, there shall be no debate by the council, although questions may be asked by council persons making such presentations. For members of the community, please be advised that this meeting is being broadcast and recorded by Hartford Public Access Television and can be viewed via the HPA-TV Facebook page, Comcast Xfinity Channel 96, HPA-TV.org, or Channel 6032 for Frontier customers. Spanish interpretation is provided through a partnership with the City of Hartford and Hartford Public Library. Additional comments can be made available with enough notice to our office. The first person speaking tonight is Donna Suarez.
Good evening. I hope all of you are well and that all of your loved ones are well. I am in favor of 8 Schultes Place. I live at 8 Schultes Place. I'm in favor of the food ordinance changes. Last summer, the street parties were out of hand and food trucks popped up every night in clusters to meet the demand. The problem wasn't new. It was just a lot worse. For the past 3 to 4 years, there were issues with food trucks parked in mixed-use areas, which eroded the quality of life for residents. The gas generators would run 24/7. People would hang out. Music was played loudly from, and there was loud music from, and vehicles as well. Residents lost a lot of sleep. I lost a lot of sleep. They made a huge mess, which didn't get cleaned up, and the garbage accumulated every night. The police couldn't do anything about it. The food trucks negatively impact local restaurant businesses as well. The most popular stretch near my home were about 4 blocks on Wethersfield Avenue, which was centered in front of the Club Discount Liquors at 554 Wethersfield Avenue. Typically, there were about 10 to 12 food trucks working until the early hours of the morning, and the party went on every night for weeks on end. Fireworks, drag racing were added to the entertainment. What I don't agree with are some of the streets that were selected for the food truck businesses. I'm thrilled that there will be no longer any food trucks on Wethersfield Avenue, but I noticed that Airport Road was indicated as one of the locations. I don't believe this is a good choice. It's a very busy street day and night. One stretch of it is part of the I-91 entrance ramp, and it's used by emergency vehicles responding to highway accidents. Local Street may be perceived as not being residential, but it is very open and has been used for a lot of street racing, and that goes on, every night during the summers. I do love the part about a food truck park. And I look to the one in New Haven by the docks as my best in class. It's not a residential neighborhood. It has specific times when it's open. And it seems like it is kept very clean. What I didn't really see in the ordinance, and I could be wrong, because as Councilman LeBron pointed out, with all the crossouts, it was a little hard to follow. Is there a requirement that the vendors clean up the area that they are using? Because if they are not cleaning up, their permit should be pulled. The health department, I know, does inspect the food trucks, but I recommend that they come back the following day to see if the area is cleaned. The garbage can be disgusting. It attracts rats and other rodents. The area where food trucks are parked in prior years on Warramy, that area is infested by groundhogs and rats that rely on the garbage as their source of food. These rodents then burrow into the dike beneath Warramy, and then they spill out into Colt Park when they create huge, large deep holes, which are a safety hazard for our park users. And that is all I have to say.
Thank you, Donna. Our next speaker is Jeffrey Devereaux. Mr. Devereaux.
Hi there. My name is Jeff Debero, a resident and business owner. My address is 1429 Park Street in Hartford. I'm speaking out against this bill, or bill is the wrong word, sorry, ordinance. Is that the right word? And for those who don't know, I'm a partner in a small business called Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner. We engage with many food trucks in the course of our business. We've hosted hundreds of events over the last 6 years to many which support food trucks. Our No Good Market event in particular, over the course of 35 events, has generated in excess of $400,000 in sales for these small businesses. And I think that is why this ordinance matters, is because these small businesses are some of the few ways that a small business with limited resources can get started and access a market to generate revenue for individuals and families, and create a living for themselves that they can in the future. Opening a food truck, opening a full retail business, brick and mortar, can cost over $100,000, but opening a food truck can be half of that, and opening a food stall can be half again of that. And so it's really important that these kinds of businesses are available and readily supported in our city. As Donna said, in truth, I think I'm in favor of some parts of this ordinance and not in many others. And I'm going to highlight the things that I'm not in favor of mostly today. I think there's two big things that I want to highlight. One is the limiting of hours, both high and low. First of all, there appears to be a disparity in where it says it's 7 a.m. is the opening time in some places and 9 a.m. is the opening time in other places. But morning food trucks are a big thing in many cities, and I think should be an opportunity here in our city and not eliminated. And having food trucks not be able to open until 9 a.m. I think would eliminate that. And then on the high side, the 9 p.m. list, I think is one of our councilmen stated to the press that opportunities to sell food truck food is often available when it's hard to find other options, and being able to sell food to folks as they're getting out of bars and restaurants late at night is an opportunity to find a market and find a customer. And this is sort of a situation where if we're telling them we can't do it in Hartford, they're just going to go do it someplace else. They're just going to go find someplace else to get food. It's not like they're not going to eat. And while I'm in favor of that being done in a safe way that doesn't affect the sleep of our residents, limiting a time, I don't think is a good way to do that. And then more to the point, as someone who makes a business out of creating these food truck spaces, these rules and the city getting involved in essentially a business without having consulted other businesses who could do that doesn't seem like a good place to have started this proposed changes to the ordinance, and would like to see that this not go forward as proposed. I know that there was some talk about the time being a short-term endeavor, but frankly, with the way the speed at which government works, I don't think we'll see those changes happen in an expedient way, particularly when we just heard today that the state plans to roll back restaurant changes as soon as May. So I think that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Our next speaker is David Alvarado. Mr. Alvarado.
Oh, sorry. I was caught off guard. I didn't think I was going to speak. I'm against it. I know that we need to make some changes as far as, certain streets because of the traffic and the noise, residents not sleeping, and so on. That's very understandable, but we cannot just go on a few negative things and try to eliminate a lot of other things. I'm just against it. I feel that for the most part, a lot of us will not benefit from these changes. And we just need to, I guess, come together, hear each other out, and try to come to a decision based on what's best for everyone and not just for those that are not vending. Because like the previous speaker stated that, some of us rely on this income. We don't have the income to open up a business. We don't have, that type of money. So a little hot dog stand, a little, food truck will go a long way for us. And I just feel that, we just need to come together and try to just, not create so many rules and regulations as to where we could go, the time frame. I think we're just being a little too strict with the time from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. You got people coming out of the clubs at night. They want to eat. They're not ready to go home. They want to go to a spot and eat. Yes, not a spot where, it's going to create too much negativity for the residents, but maybe the food truck could be in an area where there's no residents around, that they could stay open to about 11, 12, maybe even 1 or 2 in the morning to allow those people who are coming out of the clubs to go and eat and enjoy an hour after the club and then go home, rather than just restrict the time completely from 7 to 9. I don't think that's fair. And on the flip side of that, I understand the first speaker with the noise and the racing, that's all understandable. But then let's not use that. And also the trash, I agree with that too. It needs to be picked up without a doubt. But those things should not be used to eliminate the time, for example, from 7 to 9. That's not right. We should allow a place that we could park our hot dog stand or our food truck and allow us to stay there until, a reasonable time, 12, 1, 2 a.m. So long as we show that we could clean after ourselves and we're not causing any type of disturbance to our neighbors, I think we should just, allow the time to just go on past 9 a.m. 9 p.m. And I wasn't able to read too much of it, but that's just a little bit. And I also read that the fees were going up as well. I don't think this is the time for that. Maybe next year or the year after. But at this moment, bringing up fees, it's not right. A lot of us are not in that situation to be paying more when we got bigger, other bills to be paying for. I just leave it right there. So I'm against it. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Yes, Councilwoman Bermudez.
Thank you, through the chair. Is the speaker still there?
No, he went off, but I believe he can still hear you.
Can you hear me, Mr. Alvarado?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I had we can ask questions during the public hearing. So I have a question for you. So if I'm understanding you correctly, are you saying that if there was a designated area with, and you mentioned, the time to be extended to, say, as an example, 1, 2 a.m., but if there was a designated area, you would be okay with that?
Definitely, yes, and not just me. I'm pretty sure all would, and those individuals that go to clubs will love that.
Okay, that's my only question. Thank you, Mr. Alvarado.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you, Mr. Alvarado. Our next speaker will be Art Feltman. Art Feltman?
Hi, good evening. My name is Art Feltman. I am Director of International Hartford, which assists immigrants and refugees and other minorities who are starting or expanding small businesses. One of our projects is One World Market, which is a food court or a series of food courts for immigrant-owned food trucks and stands. And among those kinds of immigrants that we serve or that we host at these settings are Peruvians, Brazilians, Puerto Ricans, Middle Easterners, West Indians, Thai, Mexican, and Indian food trucks. The reason for my testifying is to just generally, while I support the ordinance, I want to emphasize, with some of the other speakers emphasize, that food trucks are good for Hartford. Food trucks are good in that they allow small entrepreneurs to get started into the food business, to sell something that they are familiar with, that they have a unique expertise in, which is their own ethnic cuisine, and to be able to make a living to support their families in a way that doesn't harm anybody. And of course, there are rotten apples in any barrel, but I think that for the most part, the food vendors in Hartford are good, honest citizens who really do a lot of good and work very hard for very little. And one of the criticisms I have, or a criticism I have of the ordinance, is the proposal to raise the fee under section 27-30 from $200 to $250. I propose instead there be, because food trucks are good and beneficial and are good for placemaking in Hartford, that the fee be $150 for two reasons. One is that you're reducing the hours, or a proposal to reduce the hours, so therefore you're going to have cut the revenues of these food trucks. And secondly, I don't think there's a recognition that in addition to paying the fee, a requirement is to have a commercial kitchen, which is a rental. And so the food truck vendor, in addition to paying for their truck and paying labor, which is generally jobs for Hartford residents, they're also paying a rental fee to a commercial kitchen so that they can obtain this license. So it's not simply a matter of the $200 they now pay, but it's also several $100s more than that to pay for the prerequisite to this license. I also want to speak in favor of, well, let me just say that I think food trucks are good. I am not opposed to regulating them more, regulating them in terms of having them away from residential streets, having them more in the commercial areas. I think those are wise changes, and I do support the ordinance overall. There has been discussion in the mayor's cover letter of a food park, and I've heard mention of it here tonight. I do want to say that One World Market is developing a proposal to the city for a food park. And by that, we mean a year-round facility where the food trucks can earn income during the winter when they're not presently able to have these kinds of opportunities. Very often they go back to working in restaurants in low-wage positions as line cooks or waiters or bus people, and they're desperate to have an opportunity to use their trucks during the winter. Our facility that we're proposing, and that you'll hear more about later, is to have one or more of these, similar to Gastro Park in West Hartford. So I see my time has run out. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Feltman. That brings us to Alexis Alvarado. Alexis, Mr. or Ms. or Mr. Alexis, I'm not sure. I'm in a quandary. There we are. You're on mute. There you
Okay.
go.
Good
There
evening,
you
guys.
go.
Good evening. I'll be short. The food trucks is not what I do. I do hot dog carts, and I sell hot dogs, which is what I'm focused on. I don't know which streets. I got to read the list of the streets where I'm able to sell now. But normally I'm on Weathersfield Avenue towards the school, somewhere quiet, calm. Even the cops park there and just sit there for a couple hours sometimes. Nobody acts up or gets in trouble or anything like that. So that was my only concern about the hot dogs, how it's going to affect the hot dog cart. The food trucks, I know it's separate. A lot of people are selling more. They're involved in the food truck business, but I don't have money for that, and I don't want to deal with it. That's a lot of work. I'm by myself, and I'm not trying to get rich, but if I could make a couple of dollars on the weekends, I'm only there sometimes Friday, mainly Saturday and Sunday. I work Monday to Friday. I drive trucks, and that was my only concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
I am now told that if there is anyone who was not on the list but who has not spoken, they now have an opportunity to address the council. Is there anyone who would like to address the council on the food truck ordinance?
Hi. Like the gentleman just said, I have a food cart too. My name is Linda Gray, and I have a hot dog cart too. So this is my first time in it, so I really don't know what's going on. So I would like to get more information.
All right, we have your
Linda, there
contact
is-
information.
Yes, on what's going on right now, because like I said, I got a hot dog cart and I've never been any of the meetings.
Okay, so I will have someone follow up with you. We have your contact information, Linda.
Yes.
Okay, we will do that tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One question, Madam Chair.
Councilman
Nick, when's your
Surgeon.
special HHS meeting with this ordinance again?
It's this Wednesday.
That's true.
So we can invite people to come to the HHS meeting, so they can learn more about the ordinance, and it also includes the food cart.
Right, and that's at 6 o'clock on the HPA-TV, Linda. But we also have someone follow up with you. Mr. Taylor, Thaddeus, did you want to speak? And I see, I don't know what the name is, Chirini? Thaddeus, did you want to speak?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Council. I just want to speak against the bill. I'm a hot dog vendor. I've been a hot dog vendor for the city of Hartford for 30 years. And I just want to talk about the hot dog carts in itself in general. Our business over last year, a lot of vendors haven't been able to work and to make money because of the bars and the clubs and COVID. And I think that limited, in my particular case, I worked in nightclubs. So to tell me I only can work, to 9 o'clock could be real, a hardship in order for me to make money, in order to, to gain gainful employment. So I would like the council to, object to that or change the timeframes. Different businesses, we are limited. We don't make a lot of money, but those are our business in the hours. And we look towards the people coming out the clubs and want to get something late night. And City of Hartford is trying to move towards, or it was at a particular time of having people walk the streets and be lively downtown Hartford and the areas. So I would suggest the council that hot dog vending, it can be a source of, the vendors know everything. They can help the community and help the people find places and things like that. So I would like to vote no to changing and or have the council at least consider, the other options, or to stay open longer and allow us to do, even as they brought the sidewalks and stuff like that, the parks, we should have the rules changed so that hot dog vendor can be on the sidewalks as they make it more pedestrian friendly and bigger sidewalks and bigger areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I see a Chiarini. I'm not sure first or last name. Okay, they're gone. So with that, I believe that we have no other speakers. So that will be the public hearing for tonight. We thank everyone for their input. Again, Councilman LeBron will have a Health and Human Services meeting at 6 o'clock on Wednesday to go over this ordinance. It'll be on HPA-TV and the other stations. And I thank my colleagues for joining us, and we will see you all soon. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, David Grant, Charmaine Craig.
Expreso mis sentimientos